looked at him. I said, "What you know about grits?" He's like, "Come on now, Bearden. You know where we're from." I said, "But what do you know about grits?" "Oh, you testing me?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Well, what do you put on them?" He says, "No, if you put this on them, it's not good. But so I put this on them." And Blink is looking at us like, "What are you guys talking about?" We're having a passionate, like, serious black man conversation about grits.
To the average person, oh, Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Sa can just be a clever couplet to close a 6-minute dance song. But no, those are African chants. Sounds like someone's proud of me.
He never strayed away from the black community. I know a lot of people want to gravitate towards his appearance and try to psychoanalyze how he felt about himself and what he felt about himself and all that.
Him having a disease like vitiligo, for something like that to happen to our brightest star, on a bigger scale was a blessing to us, because what it showed us is that who we are as a people is bigger than the skin color.
To me, it was never about his appearance, it was all about his spirit, and his spirit never left us.
When you look in the mirror, are you happy with what you see?
In what way?
Just when you look there, in terms of that social philosophy.
I'm never totally satisfied. I always wish the world could be a better place. No, not at all. Hopefully, you know, that's what I do with my music, bring happiness to people and to bring joy. Every song is different. Sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it happens slowly. No one can quite say what the creative process is, because I have nothing to do with it almost, because it's created in space. It's God's work, not mine.
I've known people that work with him, and laziness was not in his vocabulary. I've heard demos that sounded like the full-scale song. I've never heard a person make a full-scale demo of a song before they went to the studio to do it.
The fact that Billie Jean, that Michael's vocal was recorded in one take is pretty phenomenal. But I bet you that Michael wasn't the kind of person who wanted to go back and fix every word, which you could do. I think he wanted the integrity of the recording.
Rod Temperton speaks of Michael Jackson taking a day to memorize the lyrics of Rock With You and Off the Wall because he didn't want to have the paper in his hand while he was singing it. He's like, no, I want to memorize it because that way it's more believable.
You know, I've heard stories about Michael being in the studio laying on his back to get a certain sound, laying down on the floor.
On the album version of I Just Can't Stop Loving You.
I was in a bed when I was doing that.
Really?
Also, yeah. I was laying in the bed, cover and everything.
Not many people know the story behind Bad.
It's like a way of saying you're cool, you're all right, you're tough. I'm not saying I'm like criminally bad.
Quincy Jones managed to get Michael Jackson and Prince in the room at the same time to have dinner. Michael presented the scenario, which was two guys sort of vying for the position, like whose talent is better, that type of thing. And he, of course, you know, Michael wrote the song.
It is quite different from anything I've ever recorded or I've ever written.
Prince read the first lyric, which was, of course, the immortal, "Your butt is mine." Prince says, "Who's singing this line? Because you ain't singing this to me, and I sure ain't going to sing this line to you." And dinner was over.
I love the fans. I think it's very sweet. I feel thankful is how I feel. I really do. I don't take any of it for granted.
He went online and asked what the fans wanted to hear in the show, and he showed me a list from 1 to whatever the number was of what they wanted, how many times they voted for it, and what came out #1, and who liked it, male or female. I had never seen this before in my life with anybody that I've ever worked for. And then he showed me his handwritten notes of what he thought would be in the show, comparing it to the list. This is how much he loved the fans and how much he cared about it. And he would agonize over this constantly. He says, "I got this, and I still don't have J5 or Off the Wall on here. What do I do? What do I do?"
I was DJing opening for Prince in Las Vegas, a tour we did. In and of itself, I was just like, this is crazy. Like, Michael is at a Prince concert. Like, I'm already blown away that I get to watch and participate in this concert, but now Michael is here, you know? And he was coming from backstage, and he's surrounded by his security, and people start noticing him and falling out and losing it, crying. Anybody else, I believe, would have just kept walking. That's the point of being surrounded by security. He stopped and he shook every single person's hand.
We were doing a Rock With You, and I had to make a big major cut in it. So I did the cut, and I said, how's that, MJ? How's that feel? I said, yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. He says, it's gonna hurt the girls, though. It's gonna hurt the girls.
He wrote a song for, it was either Katrina relief or one of the other tragedies that had happened, and he had a bunch of us come to do another We Are the World kind of situation. And this was my first one-on-one. So I find myself on that day, I know I'm going and he's going to be there. I'm like, well, what am I going to wear? What am I going to say? How am I going to act? What am I going to do? He's going to be right there. I got to make a good impression with him because, like, it's a date. Like, I'm going to date Michael Jackson. I'm like, come on, man, you're a grown man. Get it together.
Michael really wanted to promote the 25th anniversary of Thriller. And what better way to promote it than with a media and with a media company that you felt comfortable and that had treated you fairly throughout your entire career?
We had a few places that we looked at, and we decided on the Brooklyn Museum of Art.
I go to the door, I open the door, and there's Michael Jackson. And he says, hi, I'm Michael Jackson. And we all start laughing because, oh, really? Yeah, that is Michael Jackson. We had this booming sound system.
You usually have a DJ on cover shoots or some kind of music going, so that's not unusual. What was unusual to me is they played almost all Michael Jackson songs.
And he goes on this huge platform and immediately starts doing freeze frames of his most famous dance moves.
I half expected him to bust into a move because he would just start. All of a sudden I go, this is it. He's getting ready to move. But he wouldn't exactly do the whole thing, but he was enjoying it.
I walked over to speak to him to just check to see how he was doing. And he says to me, are you getting what you need? He wanted to make sure that Ebony was getting the shot that we wanted.
The night MJ passed, I think I was with him probably from around 5 p.m. to about 12:30 that night. Some of the band members mentioned to me, MJ looks different tonight. And I was like, what do you mean? He's just got a glow, he's got a swagger, he's got a vibe about him. And we finished one number and he looked back at me like, yeah, I can do this.
Folks were awestruck.
We had no warning.
He was so vibrant the night before, so triumphant.
People, when they talk, they didn't say, like, we lost Michael Jackson. It was like, they would say, I grew up with Michael.
It's like losing somebody that's been a part of your life, so I'm really glad I was here for that, but yeah.
I think his legacy is one of matching.
His pebble was love. He put that pebble in the river and the ripples just went out like that. That's MJ's legacy.
I truly believe that when he passed, I think that a lot of his essence just jumped back into those recordings because they sound different now. I think that he said, Father, now I'm here to praise, but can a piece of me go and live in my music? And I think that he granted that.
That's life, to want to grow and become more. And like you plant a seed and it grows into something beautiful and it never dies, really. I think people should be that way.
On June 25th, the light that was Michael Jackson went out. Fans around the world mourned him. But there was a special fervor in the black community. We had never seen anything like him. And we never will again.
The final thing, I really believe that God chooses people to do certain things, and that it's their mission to do that thing. And I feel fortunate
in being that instrument through which music flows. Deep inside, I feel that this world is a monumental symphonic orchestra. I believe that in its primordial form, all of creation is sound, and that it's not just random sound.
That it's music. In the Gospels we read, and the Lord God made man
from the dust of the earth and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
That breath of life to me is the music of my life, and it permeates every fiber of creation.
My goal in life is to give to the world what I was lucky to receive. The ecstasy of divine union through my music and my dance. It's my purpose.
It's what I'm here for. Michael Joseph Jackson.